So we on.
Okay, we're on.
Okay, you're on? Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi, and welcome to the Portsmouth Coffee Talks evening edition. It's sort of like an early evening edition because we're here at 5 o'clock. We're usually here at 7, but we made some special accommodations for our guest today. And later on, Leah will introduce our guest. But my name is James Slim Overton, and I'm here with the co-host Leah Drake Stitt and Thomas the Colonel Chapman. How you doing, co-host?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
How's
Today's a great day.
everything?
And today
Well,
is
we're
an
here.
excellent day.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah, a
James?
great day. It's always a great day. We're here, sort of continuing our focus on HBCUs, and we're lucky today to have first time we ever in the show's existence have a actual college student, because in the past shows we had people that been there 50 years trying to remember what they did when they were on campus. And, that's when a few lies come out because nobody was there, to sort of hold us accountable, so I could tell I was a basketball star and all that. But now we have a student that's actually there. So she's a rising senior. And before Leah introduces her, the Colonel might want to do a little disclaimer there to keep us safe.
Yes, the views stated on this program are those of the host and guests and not anybody else. Continue on.
James?
Okay, Leah.
Well, I was trying to find the appropriate way to introduce the young lady who's with us on today. I am so proud of her. She is my granddaughter, LEAH Imani Powell. And as of today, she is a senior at North Carolina A&T University. Congratulations, Miss Leah, Miss Senior.
Thank you.
And in the process of introducing you, Leah, I was trying to find the best way to introduce you without being all grandmotherly. And your mother shared with me today a letter from your 10th grade teacher. I'm going to use that letter as a form of introduction, if you don't mind.
Okay.
She said, "Good morning, Maisha. Please tell Leah I am immensely proud of her. When I had her as a 10th grade student, I knew she would be a voice for the voiceless. I knew she had a quiet power that would erupt when necessary. May God continue to empower her and bless her. Mental illness in our community is real, as I have someone in my family who's going through it, and it is tough. But to see Leah doing this warms my heart. You better thank God for Leah." And we truly thank God for LEAH Imani. Ever since LEAH Imani was a little kid, even in kindergarten, preschool even, Leah was always the one who took up for everybody who she felt was being wronged. And so her decision to go into criminal justice was a great decision. In as much as she decided to go into law, I know that she would be a great voice for those individuals who are out there who are in need of someone to speak up for them. However, whatever choice she makes once she finished college, it would be the best choice for her, and I'm truly proud of her. So LEAH Imani, today was your last day as a junior at North Carolina A&T. How does it feel?
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. It's bittersweet because I feel like I just got here yesterday. Like we were just moving all my stuff in, all my family here. We just came to pack me back up before COVID. And then I was like, huh? What's going on? Like when people look for upperclassmen, like they're now looking at us. It's a weird feeling. I don't know. I don't think it hasn't sunk in yet.
And let me ask this of you, Leah. You originally had planned to go to Hampton University. You made a visit down to North Carolina A&T. What made you decide that North Carolina A&T was the place that you should be?
Okay, so, both of my parents are pirates, okay? All of my family is down in the Portsmouth area, not too far from Hampton, not too close. So I still saw myself like being able to have fun, but still being able to go home on the weekends and go to my grandmother's house and get food or whatever the case is, wash clothes. But I feel like when I came to A&T, it was just like a different feeling. Like I feel like Hampton might have been my safe place in a way. Like that's where I knew I would be safe. Have all my family around me. If anything were to happen, I know they'll be able to get to me. But like when I went to A&T, I went the first time for GHO. So for those who don't know, the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University is known for having the greatest homecoming on earth. And if you've been, you know we have the greatest homecoming on earth. Sorry.
Yeah,
But
that's debatable. That's debatable.
listen, Mr. Overton, okay, next year I'm coming to pick you up. We coming to GHO, okay? So you can
Prove it
see it's not a debate.
Okay.
It's not a debate.
All
But
right.
as soon as I came, like, I just felt like it was home in a different way. Like, I could see myself growing here. The love that I felt from everybody around me, like, it felt like they just wanted to see me like succeed. Like, and I saw so many older Black people who have succeeded after they left A&T. They're lawyers, they're chemists, they're all these different things. And I just felt like seeing that and seeing how everybody still pours into A&T little by little, and everybody still comes back and celebrates the fact that we go to this school, and Greensboro like revolves around A&T. Like, I feel like that's what made me make my decision.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to, and I'll say this, you mentioned that all those people that you see that are doing all these different things. And you know, when these HBCUs first started, they was kind of specific in what they offered. Like Elizabeth City was known as the Teachers College. Virginia Union was known as the Preachers College. A&T was known as Agriculture and Technology. But now it's sort of wide open. So and you ended up being in what is your major?
I'm a criminal justice major, minoring in Spanish.
Okay, did you go in your freshman year with that in mind, or did you, after a while, you said, well, I think I want to try criminal justice?
So when I came into school, I've always been a criminal justice major. Like, I know that whatever my path is, whether that's a criminal defense attorney, immigration attorney, whatever my path is, I know it's going to be in criminal justice, like to help the underdog. That's what I feel like my passion is. But the school as a whole, I feel like you said, we're so diverse. We're known for engineering, but we have so many nurses. We have so many chemists. We have so many bio majors. Like, we're known for one thing, but we excel in a lot more than what we're known for.
And before the colonel gets in there, one of the things that many of us that went away to school, one of the things you look for, people from your hometown. And some of the people you know going there, that are going there, and then when you get there, you find out, oh, okay, Portsmouth, Hampton. How important is having those homies on campus, especially in your freshman year, but it continues throughout the years. How important was that for you? Because you talked about Hampton being a safe place, but this being a little further, and then you having those homies, what we call them, there. How important was that for you to make your adjustments?
I feel like my personal journey has been very important to me. I could say ever since freshman orientation, I've had one friend that's been with me. Well, actually, it was a group of 6 of us, boys and girls. We were the only 2 girls, but the rest were boys. So of course the boys they're already going to be closer because they can live together. They do little stuff together. They go talk to girls together. But it was always me and my one person, Alexis. So we've been connected at the hip since freshman orientation. She's from Bowie, Maryland. We're all a part of this group called Metro Aggies. So A&T students from the metro area, the DMV. And I feel like if I didn't have Alexis, I feel like I would be not lost. I feel like I would still succeed academically, but it's so much more to college than just academics. I feel like the social aspect also matters. So I feel like with Alexis, we've accomplished a lot together. Now we've been together since freshman year. Even when we go home, we're together. So I can definitely say like I found a lot of my lifelong friendships at A&T. And then being from Maryland is just like a bonus.
Colonel.
Well, you know what? I'm so happy to see you there. And knowing that you're completing the third step of a 4-year process.
Oof.
And yes, I know. So that's why I put it in steps. Every year when you're going now, you're hitting on your 4th year. So saying that, and you also mentioned as a criminal justice major, you mentioned the law.
Mhm.
So am I stepping out there and saying that we have a future attorney in the looking before us?
I can say that. I can say that. I don't know where exactly I want to fall under the branch. So
Yes.
whether that's going to be criminal defense, and my mind is everywhere right now, but
I
I
was
can't
going to law. Yes. Yes. So now that you've got the long summer off, are you going to start studying for your LSATs?
So that was actually, that's been the conversation between me and my mom, because I know a student, she's a senior now, who actually took her LSAT sophomore year and passed and just got accepted into law school. So that kind of like made me feel a little defeated, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been going through so much. Like I haven't even had time to think about an LSAT. But this summer is going to be my summer. My mom has already started ordering me little study guidebooks and things of the sort. So this is the summer I'm going to study, actually sit down and get to it. Yes.
Yes. So just to dispel that, you are not behind. The other person that you spoke of took it in her sophomore years. That she is the exceptional person that does that. You are right on target. This is your summer to study for your LSAT. So that is your number one thing, is get this LSAT out of the way and to schedule it. And so you can take it at least twice.
Mhm.
And just keep studying the books. It's all test taking skills.
Okay.
And then we can start looking at one, where do you want to go to school for for law school? And are you going to try to go to one of the HBCU schools that have a law school? And Slim's dad went to Howard.
That's so.
So that's one of the better law schools in the country. So we're starting to generate, where do you want to go?
That's been on my mind heavy. I feel like I would be honored to be able to go to Howard's law program. I would love it. I would love it. That's my ideal place to go to law school.
Yes.
For different reasons. One special reason is the fact that my best friend was a student at Howard. So I feel like this is my way of kind of giving back to her by experience, because I know she loves her school. So like just being able to experience, I'm still an Aggie pride, but just to experience that whole HU vibe, the love that they have for their school is for a reason. So I would love to be able to experience a piece of that. I know I can get the whole thing, but just a piece.
So as I follow on with that, before Leah, I know she's burning up right now to get back to you.
I'm gonna let y'all have your moment. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm having a moment now. So with that, so you have this summer, and you also have your 4th step year, meaning senior year. So one, have you done any internships with a law practice? Because that's going to help you with your application for law school.
Mhm.
And then you can answer that first, and then I have a secondary question, especially with the leaked memo, you being a criminal justice major, with these Confederates on the Supreme Court.
That's my colonel. That's my colonel.
You know I had to get there.
I love you, Colonel. I love you.
And so we'll need good, excellent attorneys in the future, actually, to see you on the bench one of these days. And meaning bench as a judge after you get some time, and you could be the second Supreme. Matter of fact, you go to criminal justice, civil. You could be right after Ketanji Brown. And And so Lord, am I foretelling a future here?
Hey,
A few
speak it
years
into
out?
existence. Speak it into existence.
Yeah, speaking it.
Claim it.
There she go. We get into existence.
So you could answer that question. How about the internships?
Okay, so actually, another one of my best friends from A&T, who's from Maryland, her dad was able to help me in getting an internship with the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C.
Perfect.
So that's where I will be from June to August, just kind of trying to see if this helps me find my passion within the career of criminal justice. So,
Well, you already have the passion there. Let me rephrase that for you.
okay.
Because when you're talking to others, it's not like you're trying to find. You already have the passion. Right now, you just want to get a little taste of the different disciplines within the law.
Okay.
And I'm just getting a taste, the criminal justice piece, or I could be in corporate law or whatever. I need to get a taste of this while I'm out there. And the other piece is your mom and dad, you already need to start whispering in their ears, and your grandmother, so you can get those power suits.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Got to get the power suits.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
You need the power
so
suits.
you know, I went there. So yes, I'm setting the table.
I would be honored to get some power suits for her, really. So,
Yes.
so she can look the role. You need to look the role as well as speak the role. Okay.
That's a big part of it. Leah, before you guide her into her project that she's doing, I wanted to just ask her if she goes to our videos and look up attorney, the one we did with attorney Alana Glover.
Glover's daughter.
Yeah. And just take a look at that show that we did with her, and I'm sure it'll be kind of inspirational to you.
Attorney
So
Glover.
I know not many college students watch our videos. They probably will today because you're here. But when you get a chance, just take a look at that. I think you'll be impressed by what she's doing and how she approached.
And she's doing some powerful things in the Baltimore area, Leah. And I would like to one day introduce you to her. I see her father is watching now, Shannon Glover, our mayor, and it is his daughter. And she just recently took the Virginia bar and she passed the Virginia bar. So she's doing the Maryland bar as well as the Virginia bar. Elena Glover. So Leah, so I'm going to introduce you to her because she's really doing some great things in the Baltimore area. Okay. But we primarily had you on. We know it's HBCU focus for this month for the evening edition for Portsmouth Coffee Talk. However, I wanted you on, Leah, because of the passion that you have in raising the awareness of mental health. And you have a project in which you have on North Carolina A&T's campus at this time. The first part of it was on Tuesday. You did the second part on today. Can you share with us your passion for mental health, how you developed that passion for mental health, and what is the project that you have going on now on the campus of North Carolina A&T University?
So, I know many people might not know. I'm not sure if it's hit the news yet, but there was actually a young cheerleader at Southern University who was a freshman who actually just committed suicide last night. She posted her suicide note on social media, basically just like explaining to her friends and her family that she can't hold on any longer. Thank you for always being there, Mom. I love you. Like, you're my rock, but I'm sorry I can't be the one to strengthen you right now. Just her letter was encouraging everybody else while she's still saying that it's too late for her to get help. She doesn't feel like she belongs on this planet, and she ended up jumping off of one of the bridges in Baton Rouge. So just little things like that help me remember, like, I'm not the only one who's experienced something of that nature. I'm not the only one experiencing loss from something so tragic, something internal that they can't fight on their own. So for those who don't know, 2 years ago, I'm gonna try not to get sad.
Don't get
2 years
sad.
ago, I lost
Take
my
your time.
best friend to mental health awareness. To mental health. She actually committed suicide, and that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced.
Take your time, baby. It's okay.
It's just very sad to know that someone you love is battling more than what they tell you, especially when you always go to them for strength, but in reality, she needed me for strength, and I would have never thought that. So I'm doing my project I feel like mental health is not talked about enough in the Black community. I feel like we are raised to deal with all of our problems internally and don't let anybody see you sweat, and not for any reason than the fact that the people older than me, so my grandmother, my great grandmother, they didn't have the same resources that we have today to seek help. I feel like back then it was probably looked down upon to have mental health issues or to have anxiety or depression or feel like you don't belong on this earth. A lot of people feel like because you have all of this stuff, you should feel like you should feel better about yourself, but really it's deeper than the materialistic things that you have. It's really something internal, like an internal battle that you're fighting every single day. And honestly, nobody would ever know. And I feel like it's my job, being as though I've been affected by this first-handedly, it's my job to bring awareness to not only college students, but the Black community as a whole, Black men, Black women, Black children, because mental health is real. And especially knowing, I could name about 3 different incidents since I've been in school for 3 years, of 4 different incidents since I've been in school in 3 years of college students committing suicide and taking their own life. So I feel like if I can do something to change this narrative that mental health is bad, or change the embarrassment that comes behind the feeling of needing help or feeling guilty or feeling like you shouldn't be able to ask for help, if I could do that one step at a time, just by writing words of affirmations to patients who are suffering, who have been committed into actual facilities, I feel like that's my duty in order to keep my best friend's legacy alive. So the broad idea of my project is called Raising Awareness, RAIZING. My best friend's name was Zanaya, so I kind of incorporated her name into the title, Raising Awareness. And we are writing letters, words of affirmation letters to patients inside of psychiatric hospitalization. So far I've come up with 165 physical letters just from students coming out on 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, for 2 hours, actually an hour and a half. So I've come up with 165 of those notes and about 80 online forms. So I plan on delivering these to Central Regional Hospital, about an hour away from me, and delivering them to children. They house children from the age of 5 to elders about, I think they said 64 or 68. I'm gonna have to go back and check, but just to see that children as young as 5 are going through that feeling of not belonging to something that I feel like every child should be able to experience a time in their life. Like, it's just kind of disheartening, but it's also motivational, because I feel like it's my job to change that if I can. Like, if I have potential to save one life, I'm gonna do it.
So saying that, before I jump in, I know Slim's getting ready to part the waters here. And I hope you have your resume already done. And then, you know, the resume is a living document. So you're incorporating what you're doing with your projects inside of your resume.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when you sit for that law school exam, application, look for that interview, you can incorporate this project into your process of talking about problems that I saw. And this is, even though this behavioral health or a mental health problem is very complex, this was my actions to put a little dent in a nationwide problem.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the suggestions from some
I'll
of
be
these
sure to add
that's
that.
done there. Yes. And then so you also looked at, I think your friend and the one in the person you talked about in Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
when she wrote that note, and I'm a nurse by background, so that was a cry for help that didn't come. Put it out on Facebook or whatever social media, and it happens every day because we turn a blind eye and we don't go out and seek and say, you know, what can we do? And it's a problem in the military now. You know, on the George Washington, they've had like 8 deaths over the last 2 years of suicide, and these kids, you know, having high stress for the first time, and it's easy access to things that could end it all. And so I go back to the person in Louisiana, and I look for problems. And you, as a future attorney, and maybe attorney general one of these days, and when you go into politics, maybe you can right the wrongs of what those politicians, because they've taken the resources away from those that need resources. And you talk about the behavioral health problems in our jails. If you look at just the sheer numbers of people that are incarcerated with mental health problems, it is astonishing. And we don't have enough resources to take care of them, but we don't want to, because now if you go back to, and you've been, I know you've done some studies on this or read papers on this, because the jails now in places, incarcerations, are money-making thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we lock you up, especially if you're a person of color. We make money off you.
Mm-hmm.
And now the fast forward, now the Confederates on the Supreme Court have always said that all women are second-class citizens, as they get ready to roll back. And maybe this will be a paper for you, and I'm telling you a future study, because after they roll back the abortion rights, birth control is one coming next. They're going to roll back same-sex marriage.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to roll back, because they already said, and Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee, says they want to go after the Loving versus state of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know that one?
No.
That law case?
No.
Interracial marriage. They're going after that. So all these you will get when you go to law school. And the Confederates actually want to go back and look at Plessy versus Ferguson.
Plessy versus Ferguson.
Yeah, separate but equal. They want to take us back to the 50s. So we need smart lawyers.
Yes. Sad to say, but like that has always been the motivation for me in a way. Like, I feel like the injustices, a lot of people probably feel like, I've had conversations with a few people who say they feel like racism doesn't really exist anymore, or we're doing way better than we used to. Like, we're excelling in life compared to how we used to live, but it's kind of deeper than that. Like, just because I can go outside and might not be called an N-word, not saying that I won't, because I very well could possibly still be called the N-word. That doesn't mean that I should settle with not being like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that makes me want to go a lot harder, especially seeing that we've made so much progress, yet little by little we're backtracking a lot.
Mhm.
Well, the last 4 years under this traitor we had as a president has turned his back. And then so that person that says there is no racism, they have, my opinion, is that they stick their hands and their head in the sand and they are saying, I got mine, you got to get yours. None of this affects me. If it doesn't affect me personally, then until it does, then there is no racism. And that means they see it out there, but they have that see no evil,
Mhm.
hear no evil,
Speak
and
no
say
evil.
no evil. So the only weapons we have, and this might be a project for you, an additional project, is on your campus and with the fraternities and sororities. Do you have a voting registration
Yes.
that every student there knows how to secure a vote, to go down and vote?
So I definitely feel like Auntie makes it a priority to make sure we're all registered. But really, I feel like you can't ever say everyone, because it's really up to the people who want to make a change. In this generation, I feel like it's a lot of people who feel like they're too cool and they don't want to leave out the dorm. They don't want to march for voting rights. They feel like, I don't want to vote anyway. Like, it's always those groups of people. But I definitely feel like Auntie has done their job to make it a priority for us. A lot of times the Greek life, they would join as one. So even if you're not a part of the same sorority or fraternity, we all come together. And they actually last week hosted a march to the polls. So I do feel like Auntie is doing everything in their power, not just Auntie, actually like the student body has done a lot to make a change. But it's always going to be those people who just feel like it doesn't affect me until it affects me.
So I have a comment for you for that. So for those, I'm one of those, and and we talk about crime, and every time we have a shooting, a black on black crime, or a policeman shoots an unarmed black man for having a little twinkle thing in his car for a light bulb, and you lose your life, and then we'll go out and protest. I always said, look how many people in that protest line that went out here and voted. Because if you didn't vote, then you are part of the problem. And for those who don't vote, and when I come around and I have friends that don't vote, then I don't hang around them anymore, because they are also part of the problem. And I have to tell them, you are part of the problem and you will get yours. And so I need to hang around and be around positive people that believe in America. I don't care who you vote for, as long as you vote. Because especially as a person of color, the only power we have is at the ballot box. And you get that in the ballot box, and then two, through your education.
Exactly. James, you had something?
Finish your education and finish that dream.
Okay.
Thank you.
James,
Okay.
were you about to say something?
I know
Okay.
Is this working? Is this working?
Yes.
Okay, I'm stopping. Okay, that's it.
But
No, that's-
Colonel, in
that's
light of
okay, Colonel.
go ahead, James. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, before we started, we were trying to distinguish how we want to distinguish Leah, Grandmama Leah, from student Leah. And it was like the big Leah and the little Leah. After hearing what you're doing, Leah, there's no way I can call you little Leah, because what you're doing is showing such maturity. And I know it's also therapeutic for you, having such a close friend go the way she did. And it's important. Here in Portsmouth Coffee Talk, we pride ourselves on making people aware of the importance of mental health and the stigma that's out there in the Black communities, to the point where we have a reoccurring professor of psychology from Norfolk State to come up here and talk about certain issues. And so you just solidified yourself as a reoccurring guest as you going forward, doing what you're doing, from a student's perspective. We need to have that. So I just wanted to tell you that. And how the climate, after the student, your friend did that, what was the environment like on campus? Were people actually, did it sort of wake people up and say, well, maybe I should, if I'm having issues, I should seek help, or, I'm not as strong as I might think I am, because college can be pressure.
I feel like being as though, so that case did not happen at A&T, but being as though it's an HBCU, it is like everybody knows about it now. Social media makes it so everybody, the word gets around pretty fast. But I definitely, the one thing that I dislike about my generation, I feel like, is we pay attention to it for a second and then we're off of it really fast. So it's sad to say, but I honestly don't think that this one situation brought as much. It's not even about awareness. It's more so about more accountability, like being able to say, put your pride aside and say, you know what, I'm going through that too. Or, you know what, I know somebody who's going through that, or actually watching the signs of someone going through it. So even for myself, I feel like before I was affected personally, mental health was a common conversation. I knew what it was. I could talk about it, but I didn't really know what it, now that I think about it, I didn't know what it was. Like, I didn't really know what it was until it was me who was going through that dark time, who felt like, how can my best friend leave me? What am I going to do now? Like, feeling like maybe I'm not going to say I felt like I wasn't supposed to be here, but I questioned a lot more when I was the one sitting in the hot seat, like when I lost my best friend. Question purpose, question, did I do something wrong? Was I not there? Why didn't she say anything to me? What could I have done differently? Maybe I wasn't her best friend, maybe, but in reality, like, it took for that situation to happen to me for me to be able to recognize this as being a broad topic. Like, it's not just the loner. It's not only quiet people sitting in the corner who don't want to be there. It's not just white people. Like, it's us too. And it could be somebody on a cheerleading team, on the basketball team, on the softball team, in all of the different groups, smiling out in public at every party, who really goes home every day and by themselves, they don't know if they're going to make it out. So I can't, to bring it back a little bit, to draw back in, Mr. Overton, to answer your question, it's been a lot of recognition. It's been a lot of posts on social media, but it's not enough action behind it. So I would like to say that my community has recognized this as being an issue. But honestly, until my community actually sits down and thinks about how they could potentially also be a part of the issue, and we work together to make a change, to make appointments, to go talk to a therapist, to actually bring more light to it, then I can't say that it has made a long-lasting effects. We talk about stuff today, and then tomorrow everybody's talking about the next party. Like,
Yeah,
the Black Lives Matter.
it might be an opportunity for an ongoing panel discussion of students on campus, not just a one-time thing, but during Suicide Month or during a time that you pick, that because sometimes people are going through this alone and they think they're the only ones that are feeling the pressure of college and doing well in college, or it can be things like a boyfriend issue, girlfriend issue that can take people over the deep edge. And not everybody commits suicide, but a lot of people have some things going up there that prevent them from completing their college. So it's probably what you're doing probably will be the start of something like what I said, a panel discussion between the students. You know, it just takes one person to start that. And most students get their sea legs socially on campus, you know, and that's what you're doing now. You're getting your sea legs socially, social justice that you're going to take out into the real world at some point. So I applaud you for that.
And even me and my friends were actually talking about this today, like about what my mission is and if I would want this to be a one-time thing. And honestly, I feel like I would love to turn this into a nonprofit org or turn it into a school org. I would just need to find somebody who is going to have the same passion as me to take over once I am gone. We were thinking about new ideas, and actually a panel discussion was one of them. Within the Metro, I mentioned the Metro Aggies group. So if I were to host something with them, just to kind of have real discussion about how this has affected you or somebody you know, or just to let everybody know it's help out here. Campus gives us help. If it's not campus, you know, we should be able to go to each other about stuff like that without feeling embarrassed or feeling like, oh, we're weak. Because even Black men, I feel like a lot of times it's not deemed okay for you guys to show emotion or to cry or to feel like you don't have a purpose. Like as a man, y'all feel like y'all are supposed to feel like, oh, I'm macho man, I got everything under control. But that's not normal. Like it's okay to have emotion. It's okay to need to talk to somebody every now and then. Like, so I feel like my mission is more so to just bring light on not only mental health as a whole, but mental health within the Black community, mental health for women, mental health for kids, what it looks like, men, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it could potentially be. Because I just feel like rates are really high. Rates are high. We're losing people who haven't even made it to C25, like 21 at that. My best friend passed away at 18. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like it's my job to kind of allow everybody, at least attempt to make people feel like they're worth it, like they're worth the fight. Because not everybody's going to have the same support system that I have. Like I can say I have a grandmother who's going to drive all the way to Maryland to make every chorus concert, every band concert. I could say I have a mother who, if I'm crying over the phone, she's on the road to come to North Carolina to make sure I'm okay. I could say I have a father who speaks sense into me and who and who can who I can say I have family that's genuinely there for me, my best friends. And a lot of people don't have that. And it's sad to see people who are navigating through life without having at least one person who they can count on. So that's why I'm here.
And as you say, Leah, we don't know the face of those individuals who are going through, who are suffering. Because your best friend, all we knew, she was on top of the world. She was smart. I mean, she could do anything she set her mind to. She could do it, and she did it well. She presented very well. You know, you knew she was confident, you know, and we still didn't know that she had pain. So you can't look at someone and say that this person is okay or that person is okay. You have to actually ask the person, is it okay? Are you okay? How do you feel? You know, sometimes we go through life.
That sense of being vulnerable, because even think about it with Zanaya. Like if I, you know, we were to ask her like,
oh, she would have said, oh, I'm fine.
Oh, I'm fine.
Like
I'm
good.
I can handle anything. Girl, I'm not sweating about that. But in reality, if you're being vulnerable, if she were to be vulnerable to us, she would have told us like, I'm not okay. And I just,
you're right. You're right. You're right.
it is hard. It is hard
Mhm.
coming out and to seek help, and because we have a familiar or a racial thing that we don't do that. And so and then we always talk about suicide as on the spectrum, which is on the end of the spectrum is suicide. But before you get there, you have all these behaviors of folks that you know every day that they act out. They get a DWI when you know
Mhm.
they're not even a drinker, or they go out on serial dates. And I got a bunch of relationships, or I'm doing something normally that out of my normal things just to act out. And those systems, as you look back in retrospect,
Yeah.
something is going on.
Mhm.
And then so if you look at programs, we need more programs to build resilience. So when that time comes to I could stop somewhere in that chain before I get to the suicide. If I build up that resistance and coping skills, get help to reinforce those coping skills, I don't go all the way and tip to the end to where
Exactly.
there's a point of no return, which is the great equalizer that we all will have is death.
Mhm.
And that's
That's when
actually
everybody's equal.
the young girl who just passed away yesterday. In her note, she was still empowering everybody else, motivating everybody else. She said it's okay to get help. It's okay to not be okay. Seek professional help. I
Mhm.
know I'm contradicting myself, but it's too late for me.
Mhm.
So it's like she acknowledged that it's okay to do this, but some people are just so deep into those thoughts that it feels like it's too late. And honestly, being a freshman, why would it have been too late? Like, from the outside looking in, it's why would it have been too late? You could have, like, it seems like they would be wanting to help you, but it's like you just wouldn't ever know. It's so
You
crazy.
never know. And when you say why is it too late? Because one, we always have the stage of we blame game. We
Mhm.
blame ourselves. Why didn't we? Or we blame the person that committed suicide. Why didn't they reach out? And then so the blame game goes everywhere. But it's that if we build resistance and build in systems, and then we build a community that where it says it's okay to ask for help,
Mhm.
and it's not going, and you're not going to be relegated to a second class citizen that you got help. Because
Mhm.
employers, you can see across the country, if you look at healthcare plans on the behavioral health, the mental health piece, it's always short-sighted to other, if you get cancer, I got more days, more coverage than I do have my behavioral health. And so we need lawyers out there to fight those kind of problems across the country within, systemic problems. So that's why
Yeah,
I'm looking at this lawyer now.
yeah.
James.
I want to go into this and live. I hope people continue to give affirmations on in the program that you started. I want to sort of switch gears just a little bit because I know when you were looking at colleges, and I think when you went to Hampton, or I don't know if you went to other places, they were, it was like a tour guide if it was a lot of students, and it was usually a student. Now, if you were a student, if you were that tour guide, and a bunch of high school students were on A&T's campus, and you had to convince them, as you was pointing out certain buildings, that's the science building, but you really had to convince them, and they had already told you they thinking about Hampton or Virginia Union or Norfolk State, but you had to convince them to come to A&T, and you could get personal with it. What would you tell them and to convince them to look away from those other great universities?
Um, hmm, that's a good question. I think
Well, I mean, you can dig into your experiences on campus. You can use that as a lead-in
Yeah, why should I come to A&T?
Okay, so I feel like something that A&T offered me that Hampton didn't was that sense of unity. Not from anything other than just feeling you walk through campus, everybody's saying hi, they're acknowledging you, they're asking you further questions to try to like get to know you off of first meeting you. At Hampton, I didn't really get that feeling. I feel like maybe it's because A&T is a public university, the #1 public university. Or
In North Carolina.
hmm?
In North Carolina.
We're gonna debate it. I'm gonna have to look up the stats. Okay, we're gonna have to debate that one.
Okay.
But something that one of the main things would probably be the student center. That's where a lot of us just conjugate, sit around, talk, laugh. And I know a lot of times when they bring tours in, they'll sit in the student center and they'll do like our little chant. And the entire student center will break out in the chant, like with the students there. So it'll be like, I'm not gonna do the whole chant. I'm not gonna do it. But if they're like, can I get an Aggie Pride in the middle of the student center on a Monday with everybody sitting there doing work? Everybody is going to stop and say Aggie Pride, like to make sure you know, like we're here, like we see you, you see us, we're a family, we're all together. I think that's one of the main reasons why I fell in love with A&T, just the feeling of everybody being family. Like one thing we all know, everybody is going to go hard behind being an Aggie. Like I'm at an airport and people are stopping me like, oh my God, I graduated from A&T. Like even with those people, I don't know you from a can of paint, but yet you still feel like my aunt. Like it's weird. I don't know.
So what about the classrooms and the professors? I mean, is it a sense of, like they care and you're not just a number that might be at some of the PWIs that, like I always say, not taking anything from the PWIs, something about the HBCUs and the Aggie Pride and the professors there. How that relationship with your professors, how is that?
Listen, #1, anybody who takes offense for you mentioning PWIs, we can get recognition too. It's not always about the big name schools. The HBCUs can be just as great. One of the things why I don't regret choosing an HBCU is because of that, Mr. Overton. I feel like even if I'm not that student to say that all my professors have been Black, but all of my professors have taught the importance of what it means to be Black, even if you're not Black at all. I've never felt like a professor didn't know me. I never felt like a professor wanted to see me fail. I've never felt like they weren't there to genuinely help me. As professors that I have their phone numbers, I will text them and do anything to make sure I have the link to this work, or I like on her off time. I feel like that's something that HBCUs offer that a lot of PWIs don't offer because the student body is so big and because it is 100+ students in their class. So it's no way I can give 100+ students my number. And then I have 5 classes a day. That's 100 students every class. That's 500 students a day. Like that's just a lot. And I feel like A&T has shown me what it's like to be a Black woman and excel and to just be able to be me unapologetically. I feel like I had a professor with, in the professional world, off the conversation is natural hair. My freshman year of college and my sophomore year of college, I had my favorite professor ever, Dr. Lisa Long. She works with Fayetteville Police Department now, but she's a Black woman with long locks, and she never made us feel like, oh, your hair's not done, like what's going on, or made us feel like you have to look this way to get a job. Like she taught us, aside from criminal justice, she probably doesn't even know this. I've never told her this, but she taught me like what it's like to live in your skin unapologetically, like not worried about making sure your hair is pulled back a certain way or not making sure you're speaking a certain way. Like, just be yourself. And even aside from her, I feel like a lot of my professors have taught me that, like, how beautiful it is to be Black and everybody be so different and everybody want to do different things. And we have so many lawyers in here. We have so many everything. So I definitely feel like aside from the education aspect, just having those professors teaches you how to just be comfortable in your own skin.
Well, I am a proud grandmother on this day. I'm a proud Gigi on this day.
Mhm.
And I must say, LEAH Imani, I just cannot begin to tell you how proud I am of you. And I know that your passion didn't just start with mental health, because when you were in high school, you were part of the leadership group that walked out when that guy was running for office. I even lost a longtime friend who was a Trump supporter because she felt that I needed to chastise you for being a part of the group of students who walked out of school in protest over his running for office. Share with us something about that, LEAH.
She would have been a great Greyhound. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
she would have been.
Look, I used to want to be a Greyhound so bad. Don't tell me that.
There you go.
Don't tell me that.
She's gonna be an associate member. Go ahead.
So in high school, me and one of my closest friends to this day, Sienna, we formed a group called Leading in Melanin. It ended up getting turned down by the principal, who was actually a Black man, but that's another story for another day. He said that, I think it was right after the Ferguson, Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Brown, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The Ferguson incident. And he said that it would cause too much controversy in the school. So we could not start our group, which was kind of disheartening, but we didn't stop there. So we actually didn't plan the walkout. So it was like a worldwide walkout, but we initiated the one at our school, made posters, made signs. And it was when he won presidency. And we literally walked the roads of Silver Spring for hours and all met up at a field, and we all had open conversation, just discussing concerns and what it would look like these next 4 years or what it could potentially mean and little things like that. So I can't say I've always had the passion deep down inside. It's in me. You see who my grandmother is. It's in me. And yeah, that was like my first time ever experiencing being an activist first-handedly, but the adrenaline was real. So I loved it ever since then. And I feel like that's what brought me out of my shell a little bit more, when I saw what I was capable of and I know what I could do. So it just makes me want to like work even harder in any and every way possible to make a difference.
That's my girl.
But you know
what can I say?
I know. What can you say? So I'll go back to that Black principal that was there. I know. I can't let it go.
Okay, all right.
You'll find that throughout the rest of your life that you will see people of color, our color, that if controversy comes down, they will shrink to the moment. And long as they want to maintain the status quo, and they will pull out the hucklebuck thing and whatever, and long as I want nothing to happen on my watch, so I can continue to get this check, and I don't care what happens until it affects them, until the Confederates come for them, and then they'll say, how come y'all ain't protesting to help me?
Exactly.
But up until that time, they'll pull the Uncle Ben, like in the senator from South Carolina, and shuck and jive, and will sell us all out. So whoever that principal is, and we're not gonna name his name, who is that is ashamed to his ancestors. So that's all, and I'm gonna cut it off now because I'm getting deep.
And let me,
Look,
and let me,
we're here, Colonel. We're here. We're here.
Yeah, yeah.
and not only is she an activist, but when she comes home, when she during the breaks, she gives back to the society as well. She came home during Thanksgiving when we were having Thanksgiving for the guys who are housed at the Portland City Jail, and she participated in serving their dinners for them for the Thanksgiving meal. So she gives back to the community as well as being an activist in the community. And I feel like we're just tied at the hip because we just do some of the same things. And I tell you, I'm just so thankful for the time and energy that I put into exposing her and her brother to what it means to be a proud Black individual. It has paid off for both of them. Both of them. They know. They're unapologetically in their skin. Do you hear me? They know who they are. And they are proud of who they are.
Yes. So Gigi Leah, I'll call you Gigi Leah.
Gigi Leah.
When she comes home, you're going to look at her resume to make sure that, like, feeding the prisoners or whatever is on that resume. Is aligned on that resume. She has it
on there. Her mother and I, we are constantly working with her. She has everything up to date. She's going to use this video as part of her resume as well, when she prepares to do whatever it is she prepares to do. So she's ready, Colonel. She's on top of things. She's really on top of things.
That's why I said the resume is a living document.
It is a living document.
Yes. It's always to be added. And that's the one thing
I can't say, I have to add her father as well, because Derek is really a hands-on dad, all the way hands-on.
That is a good thing.
He's a hands-on dad. And Leah, I must tell you that your cousins David and Crystal, who are in Italy, they are on the line and they are listening to you as you speak right now.
And, also, I stopped it now, but I have a Slim Nation podcast. So this will be on that Slim Nation podcast on Spotify. So you can go on Spotify and look up the Slim Nation, and I'll have it under your name. So if you just want to listen to it, it's getting out there. You know, so I think
it's on Spotify. It will be on YouTube later today, and it's on Facebook Live. My girl, you are famous today.
It's an important message to get out there, especially coming from college. That's why we really wanted a college student to give their perspective, because like I said earlier, this is when you learn your purpose, you know, along with all the other things that you learn in the classroom. The college experience, especially HBCU, is nothing like it. You learn, you fall into your Blackness, you know, if for lack of a better word, and you know, everything else. And don't forget, when you go to law school, you might have to study what is critical race theory.
Critical race theory.
But you know, take that and use it the way you want to use it.
Okay, I will.
Your Aggie friends are online too. They're online as well. So Lexus and Lex's mother and Sanithia Patterson and
right here.
She's right there. Alexis is right behind you. Hello, Alexis. Okay. Tell us your face.
No shout outs.
She's out of the room.
She's like, out of the room. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on. And if you have some parting words, feel free. Hope you're ready for that exam.
Ooh,
I'm sure.
Look, Gigi, here she comes.
Hi, Lexi. That's the roommate. That's the roommate. Hi, Lexi.
That's that roommate you're going to remember 50 years from now, like I did.
Oh, yes. That's been my road dog since freshman year.
Yes.
Been us.
You have some departing words, Leah?
I don't. Well, thank you everybody for listening. If you care to participate in my Words of Affirmations event, it is still going on virtually. I have a link in my Instagram bio, and I can send it to my grandmother. Do you have the link?
I have the link, and I'll put it on my page.
Okay. You can go to the link and my grandmother's Facebook and
Instagram.
and Instagram and leave words of affirmations for children or for adults or for both. And those will be printed out and put on put on little foam cards like this. The butterflies are for kids and the hearts are for adults and will be given to Central Regional Hospital. So that is still open for more participation. And thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Colonel, Mr. Overton, and my grandmother for having me on here. And it was good talking with you all.
And I will say, if that was nervous, I can't wait to see your confidence.
And she told me, she said, I'm just so nervous. I
I'm
said,
so
just
nervous.
talk. I said, you talk more
Yeah.
than I talk. So you will be just fine. You will be fine. So
Well,
Colonel,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you
was
say
smooth.
something and then I'll take the last word, okay?
Well, since Gigi let me in, Judge Powell, thank you ahead of time.
Speaking into
Thank you
existence,
for
Colonel.
speaking into
Speak it
existence.
again. There you go.
When I make it, I'm gonna give you a shout out.
Yes, give me a shout out. So I'm
Okay.
the first one to call you judge.
long as it's not in the courtroom.
Yeah,
No, it's not standing in front of her in the courtroom. That's
it's all good. It's all
Oh,
good. But
Thank
keep
you.
doing what you're doing. Keep moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And little Leah, my namesake, I knew from day one that you were destined for greatness. You know, I just observed you from preschool through kindergarten, through middle school. You tried to be a little shy, but I knew that it was in you all the time. And it just took that great awakening. And when that awakening happened, you stepped out there like a soldier on the front lines of the army. Girl, you have been doing your thing. I am so proud of you. I am behind you 199%, maybe even 200%. So whatever you choose to do, I know you're going to be great at it. I can't wait till you get to your summer internship job, and maybe we can get you back on so you can tell us about what that job is really like, that internship. But Leah, I want to say I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. What's that song? I love you. I like you forever. I love you for always. As long as you're living, my baby, you'll be. That's who you are. Okay, so
All right.
James and Kern, I want to thank you so much for agreeing to have my granddaughter on. I think the awareness that she brought
Our
was
pleasure.
just something that we all need to see. And I encourage each of you to share this page on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page. Share it because more students need to hear what she had to say about not only students, adults too, need to hear what she has to say about mental health and mental health awareness. I thank you guys so very much. Love you, Leah, and thank you.
That was
Love you.
very
Thank you for
encouraging.
having me.
Yeah.
I can see a
Go
bright.
take that last exam.
I can see a bright future.
I do.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Y'all be
All
good.
right.
Thank you so very much. Everybody, good night. And thank
Good
you
night.
to each of you for listening on Facebook Live. And it will be on YouTube later this evening. And you can also see it on Spotify, on Slim
Listen
Nation.
to it.
Listen.
Listen to it.
Listen to it on Spotify on Slim Nation's page. So I'm
Okay.
learning. They're getting me there, Leah.
Now we have to,
So
now we have to go through that awkward point where we sit here and wait for you to sign us off.
let me sign you off. Wait a minute, just a minute. Stop live stream. See, Crystal said it was great, Leah. Let's stop the recording.
Oh,
I can't find it. I don't have my glasses on.
See, I tell you, we have to do this awkward thing. Let me see if I can act like I'm reading something.
Okay.
Gigi, Jordan's in here.